Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Beautiful questions. One nice thing, long question, but exactly related to today's sutra. So, I'll talk on the sutra and you will receive the answer. Today Mahadeva is starting another new chapter, new set of sutras. Let me read the sutras. Since in truth, bondage and freedom are relative, these words are only for those terrified with the universe. This universe is a reflection of minds. As you see many suns in water from one sun, so see bondage and liberation. There are three levels of sutras. One, Nitya Sutra, which has to become understanding and which you need to practice every moment. Second, Dhyana Sutra, which you need to practice at particular times, like a meditation technique. Third is Ananda Sutra, just understanding liberates you. Understanding and start enjoying. This sutra is Ananda Sutra. Understand? When you have particular set of understandings and live your life with that understanding, disciplines expressed by you with that understanding, automatically you release a kind of energy. It is a scientific fact. Understand this. Few words which I am uttering are going to be the key point to understand this whole sutra. When you have particular kind of understanding and live your life based on that understanding, when those understanding express as a kind of a discipline in you, that lifestyle releases an energy in you. It's a very clear scientific fact. Any disciplined life, when it is lived, releases energy in you. This energy awakens the non-mechanical part of the brain. Understand, I'm trying to express exactly what happened in me or what is happening in me. When you have a strong clarity and understanding and live a life based on that understanding, a kind of a discipline arises in you which is unique and your own. Understand, I am not saying morality. Morality is when you try to generalize the discipline, it becomes morality. No. I can say customized morality. The true morality starts happening in you. It releases a tremendous energy inside your system. That energy awakens the non-mechanical part of your brain. When the non-mechanical part of your brain is awakened, your body is incapable of receiving that new awakenings, that incapability and the new awakening, when it starts gelling with each other, what happens is what I call bliss. Understand? Somehow I tried, and I think I at least gave one more layer of understanding. When you have particular kind of understanding, a revelation or a click, that understanding, when you start organizing all your thought and activities based on that understanding, a kind of a beautiful morality or a beautiful discipline starts happening in you, which will be unique to your system. That discipline releases a tremendous energy. That is what I call psychological revolution. That energy release awakens the non-mechanical parts of your brain, means the awareness usually other beings will not have. That awareness will be awakened. Sometime disciples come and tell me, Swamiji, suddenly last few days after started listening to your discourse, I am aware even in the dreams I am hearing your words. Even in the dreams, when I am doing something wrong or supposed to be against my understanding, the understanding comes back and the dream disappears. If you experienced even once listening or remembering my words or my teachings, my presence in your life in the dream state, be very clear, the psychological revolution has started. That is started. Means the unique discipline which is your own. When the cosmic constitution is understood by your being, you just fall in tune with that cosmic constitution. As on now, you are all in tune with the constitution of a particular country where you are staying. That is why you are outside, not in prison. Whether you want or not, your body and mind is in at least following. I may not be able to use the word in tune, at least following the constitution of that country. When these great truths and understandings land on you, when you carry them in you, you will suddenly fall in tune with the cosmic constitution. And falling in tune with the cosmic constitution awakens a unique discipline in you. Continuously your thinking process comes back to that understanding, to that clarity, to that revelation. You are applying that thought, the understanding as a key in every situation. That releases a tremendous energy in your system. That energy awakens the non-mechanical parts of your brain. You will see as if your whole brain is alive. Because of that, you will feel the whole body is alive. Your earlier hardware, earlier body is not directly capable of accepting the new expression, the new energy. When these two are trying to settle with each other, what happens is what I call ecstasy or bliss. Bliss is a byproduct or side effect of a new psychological revolution trying to settle in your system. And one more important thing, because continuously the understanding takes you to the higher and higher heights, as long as you carry the body, continuously you will be feeling that bliss expressing, the bliss exploding. Continuously it will be like an excitement. These understandings are so powerful, they do not leave you in between. They do not just become dull. Understand? If you start the spiritual practice or the spiritual discovery, and more and more and more, it is opening new doors. Sometimes people come and tell me, Swamiji, last 5 years I am sitting and listening to you, but every time I see some new door opening. Every time I see something new exciting. Every time I see, I always think, oh, this much only Swamiji can speak. What else newly he can open up? Suddenly I see something new opening up. Continuously I am seeing something new happening in me. Means understand, actually I am not even opening up new things. Your seeking is honest seeking. Your growth is honest growth. You are on the right track, because this understanding is such, even if you don't listen to me physically, that understanding, when it is applied every moment in the life, will be opening, revealing new things. Will be opening and revealing new things. That is why the initiation given by an enlightened being is so alive, it will be keeping you constantly exciting. If that same words uttered by unenlightened person and you try to work with that, those words only creates rituals. With enlightened person, even rituals are exciting, new. So many new things are discovered. So wonderful. It's like an intense, ecstatic journey. With an unenlightened person, even meditation techniques are rituals. Even they will be boring, same, traditional. With an unenlightened person, even if he tries to talk something new, it will be old and ritualistic and will not have excitement. With an enlightened being, even if he talks the same old thing which is 10,000 years old, if he does even the same thing which is 10,000 years old, you will see suddenly new things are being discovered. Excitement, new energy, new happening. Because the energy and happenings are the side effect of the awakened, psychologically revolutioned inner software trying to settle with the hardware. One important thing, the hardware, the more and more it settles and lives with that software which is awakened, it becomes more and more intelligent and capable of experiencing that joy. That is another beauty. It becomes more and more capable, sensitive, intelligent, and it opens more and more possibility to experience and internalize that ecstasy, that joy. That is why the more you start growing in the understanding, that's what I am saying. See, for intellectual, logical mind, the Nitya Sutras, which you internalize and which you may need to practice constantly, will appeal. What you hear has to be remembered and has to be practiced. This is Nitya Sutras. Second, Dhyana Sutra. Here, internalize at particular time of your day, particular part of your day, you need to sit and dedicate, devote yourself for it. This will appeal for a different kind of seekers. Seekers who are not just logical, who are balanced, logical and little emotional too, who are different kind of beings. For them, this kind of sutras will work. And the third, it is amazing. These sutras will work for everybody. All you need is, when you understand and internalize, you are not even needed to remember this technique. No. You are only needed to cooperate with the ecstasy happening in you. You are not even needed to remember. See, even doing the ajapa japa means that remembering the mantra which is being repeated by your breath is Nitya Sutra. Means you have to remember and have the awareness towards it. Even Ananda Gandha, understand? Even Ananda Gandha is a Nitya Sutra. Because you need to put your awareness, at least in the initial level. Initial level, even Ananda Gandha is a Nitya Sutra. Means you have to remember and bring your awareness to the Ananda Gandha and constantly try to be in that area. But here, Mahadeva is giving you the real freedom, total freedom. He says, since in truth, bondage and freedom both are relative, these words are only for those terrified with the universe. He is breaking the whole part. If you understand this sutra, you don't need anything else. You don't need actually anything else. He says, since in truth, in reality, in actual truth, bondage and freedom are relative, these words are only for those terrified with the universe. He is telling only frightened fools seek enlightenment. He is completely breaking the part. He is completely opening. He is taking us to a different level of understanding. As long as you create questions verbally, you do not understand. You create the necessity for me to talk verbally. As long as you need somebody to talk to you verbally, you are creating bondage. Many people think only logical person can question. Only a person who has freedom or the free way of thinking questions. No. Understand? Questions arises in the mind which is a slave, which is again and again asking for a master to answer verbally. I have seen many people, just by writing a very tough, logical question, they think they are independent, individual thinkers. Especially the pseudo-logical guys. They really think by creating a strong, intelligent question, they are very logical, independent, intelligent, free thinkers. Understand? Corruption and misunderstanding in any other field can be tolerated, but not in the field of inner science. Not in the field of understanding about yourself, because corruption and misunderstanding in the inner field will destroy the whole life. Ramakrishna says beautifully, in eastern parts of India, they'll use sesame seeds to drive the ghosts or the spirits which are possessing the human beings. Sometimes the ghosts are so intelligent, they will go and sit inside the sesame seeds. If ghost is sitting on some person, you can throw the sesame seed and drive him out. If it is sitting inside the sesame seed, what will you do? No, you can't. You can't drive the ghost from that person. Ramakrishna says, same way, if the misunderstanding and corruption is in some other part of the world, you can use your inner clarity and throw them away. But that misunderstanding or corruption is sitting inside your inner space, then you are in difficulty. Then you are in big dangerous place. Nothing can be done. Understand, by creating strong, logical, so-called individualistic questions, do not think you are very sharp or independent, free, individual thinker. No. You are deeply enjoying being a slave without remembering or recognizing it. As long as you need a verbal answer, moment you create a verbal question, you need a verbal answer. Communication means you are in need of a master, you are a slave. Only a person who expresses his understanding, he does not need communication, he needs communion, that's all. Many people come and sit just to be with the master. I have seen many people, they come and sit, they never put any question. If you ask, why you don't ask any question? Whatever now I had, the questions I had is answered. I am full. But I know he will take me to the deeper and deeper fulfillment. So I am sitting here. Somebody is asking the true Guru-disciple relationship idea. Your information about Guru-disciple relationship, please can you explain more? There is no name. This is what is exact Guru-disciple relationship. If you are sitting here to get answers for your question, still we have only teacher-student relationship, not Guru-disciple. Suddenly you will see some strong clicks and understandings has happened in you, and your whole life is already falling in tune or put in tune with that understanding, and whole day a unique discipline has arisen, awakened in your routine. Understand, when I say unique discipline, it is no way related to a routine, like a morning you have to do Nitya Yoga, morning you have to do Nitya Dhyan, evening you have to do Nitya Arti. No. I am not talking that. I am not saying about that. Unique understanding means you yourself will feel completely comfortable, like you will sleep when you want to sleep, you will get up when you want to get up, you will do your business when you want to do, you will meditate when you want to meditate, you will eat if you feel like eating, you will rest, you will feel like resting, but you will see a kind of a unique settled feeling, unique comfortable feeling. Neither you will sleep because you are sitting in your bedroom, you are inside your bedroom. You won't sleep just because you are inside your bedroom. No. You won't eat just because you are seeing the McDonald's tower. No. You won't pray only because you are seeing the temple tower. No. Remembering God only when you see the temple tower. Always thinking of eating whenever you see the McDonald's tower. Always thinking of lying down or resting whenever you see the advertisements for mattress, or the moment you get into the bedroom deciding to sleep is not the routine. No, that is not the routine which I am talking about. That may be called a medically disciplined routine. If you do all that as per the doctor's advice, you may have health. I don't know about that. Doctors only decide. But what I am saying is the unique routine arising out of you by understanding. By understanding. And that releases tremendous energy in you. Understand? The unique discipline which arises out of understanding will be so beautiful. You don't have to imitate anybody's understanding. You don't have to imitate anybody's understanding. If you see, the understanding of Ramakrishna is so powerful. He slept in the same bed with Sharada Devi at least 2 years, but neither he nor she even had the thought of having physical relationship. And surely Sharada Devi was very pretty and very young. In 45, if you see her photograph, the first photograph you will see, her photograph is 45. And very wonderful lady. Both of them are staying together. It's not that I am asking you to work for that understanding. No, I am not asking you, it should be the same in you. No, out of their understanding it happened. Understand the difference between the discipline arising out of the click, the initiation, and the discipline arising out of somebody telling you or you reading. One more thing, if you start seeking for enlightenment or ultimate truth because I told you, or you read in some books, you are only in the initial level. Okay, nothing wrong, but only in the initial level. But you yourself got the curiosity. I think I should see inside me and do some repair work. I should do some more clearing work. Then the seeking starts. Only then the morality or the unique discipline which I am telling starts rising in you. Starts rising in you. Ramakrishna's discipline is complete, perfect, total, because it arose out of his own clarity, not because somebody told him, somebody made him, somebody was watching him. No. No. In the initial level, if somebody telling and you listening and it starts, the spark is okay. But that is not going to be the life. That should not be the life. I have seen people who try to get little seeking or the enlightenment interest because of my initial thing, they try to get, but they don't go deep or do any spiritual practice. Slowly, if the relationship between me and them, if that is not kept alive, if that is little low, the connection is little low, suddenly I see they start saying, no, I am not interested in enlightenment, seeking spirituality, forget about it. It means what? It has not become part of them. Unless it becomes part of you and you yourself get that curiosity, nothing much can happen inside you. When that curiosity starts happening in you, when the understanding is applied every moment in you, the energy which gets released inside your system, any disciplined life based on understanding releases tremendous energy in you. It is a scientific fact. That energy awakens the non-mechanical parts of the brain, means bringing more awareness. That awakening of the non-mechanical parts of the brain only brings tremendous ecstasy into your system. The system is now getting trained to have more and more ecstasy, more and more joy. If you are living in a routine which is forced on you, which has not become your click or understanding, that kind of a routine will lead you to more and more dullness. More and more dullness. I am afraid The so-called developed Indian cities are falling into that. They do not understand the routine which has not become your internal click will lead you to depression. Unless some method of psychological revolution is brought and the routine which they are required to follow matches with their understandings about life, people cannot come out of depression. You may add more and more and more medication equal to food. Sometimes the quantity of food and medication almost is same. In Ayurveda we say that food should be like a medicine, but people have misunderstood. Medicine has become like a food. You may add any amount of, any quantity of medicine into your system, you will not be able to get out of the depression because the routine is not happened because of your internal understanding. Tapas means sacrificing things without bothering when your internal understanding is trying to set a new routine and trend to your body. When you add this internal understanding to your life, you will suddenly see your day-to-day routine is little disturbed. It becomes little chaos. And if you try to build your whole day based on this internal understanding, naturally for few months you may not be able to do your regular job, regular routine, whatever you are doing. But having courage to go through the disturbance, to go through the chaos, and settling on the internal understanding permanently, strongly establishing yourself strongly on that understanding, courage to go through this chaos is what I call tapas. Have courage, nothing wrong. Few months, if it is completely shaken, okay, take leave, take off, call sick. Otherwise you will be sick. Better call sick and let that understanding churn you. I tell you, surely you will see a new beautiful routine arising out of that understanding, happening out of that understanding. And non-mechanical parts of your brain will be awakened. That is what I mean when I say, in the dreams you will remember very clearly the great ideas and teachings which you heard and became part of you. If you heard, remembered my teachings at least few times in your dreams, the non-mechanical parts of your brain has already awakened. The awakening has started. The other day, one person was telling me, Swamiji, I saw in the dream that some animals are chasing me. And in the dream also, suddenly I remembered my mala and held the mala and remembered you. The dream disappeared. What's the meaning of this? I said, I do not know the mystical or these, that meanings. One thing I can tell, the non-mechanical parts of your brain is awakened. And your path is devotion. If you remember my words and teachings and understanding which came to you through me, then your path is intellectual. If you remember the teachings and understandings which you heard got from me in the dream, your path is jnana yoga. Add more and more understanding. If you remember just my very being as a divine in the dream, then your path is bhakti yoga. Awakening the non-mechanical parts of the brain is what we call in Sanskrit Pratyagatma Chaitanya Jakratam. This is what you expected to have. You are expected to have this awakening of non-mechanical parts of your brain between the age of 7 and 14 according to Vedic tradition. Between the age of 7 and 14, the Gayatri mantra is supposed to do this job. Gayatri is given to you to awaken the non-mechanical parts of your brain, so that you will have that unique discipline arising out of you, unique discipline happening out of you, unique understanding happening out of you. Then by 14, the energy which is awakened, the non-mechanical parts of your brain, will try to settle with the body. By the time you become physically mature, already your system is tuned, trained to continuously enjoy the inner ecstasy and bliss. So you are balanced. Now you have strong, clear tools to enjoy the inner world, live with yourself, and the outer world, live with one person. That is what we call living together. As on now, it is not living together, living together. Living together means even if two persons are living together, constant loneliness is there. There is a constant loneliness. You are still thinking to gather something more, some more people, some more relationships, some more things into your life. The extramarital relationship happens because you are feeling lonely even while you live together. You are not living together, you are living together. You will be surprised how in the traditional Indian lifestyle, even few hundred years ago, people lived happily with one person. Understand? I have seen at least 2 cases and I have heard at least 25 to 30 cases. 100-year-old, the man will pass away, within 3 hours the lady, she will pass away. If you go to your native villages, you will hear these stories. Understand, passing away cannot happen just by shock. Just by simple shock, the person will not die. And especially after 100 years, why she will die if he dies? But see, they lived together. That is why they are very clear. Yes, now it is time. Let both of us leave the body. If you go back to your village and sit with the elderly ladies and talk, at least 2 stories you will hear. I know for sure. Means they lived together. The living together was lifestyle. Was lifestyle. Understand? That happens only when both the person's non-mechanical parts of the brain is awakened. If both beings, non-mechanical parts of the brain is awakened, you will also be constantly settling with your ecstasy. She will also be constantly settling with her ecstasy. Even if you share each other, you will be sharing your ecstasy. Constantly you will be radiating it. The other day, I was reading an article. In Bangalore, the divorce rate is 33%. I was shocked. 33%. What is happening to India? God. Leading. Now the metropolitan cities are leading in divorce rate. 33%. And the whole thing has started rising only in last 10 years. After the IT revolution. No, really. No, the reason, these are all the great side effects of the IT revolution. Understand? The reason, the main reason is their routine is not happening after their psychological revolution, understanding. The hardware is forced to do something for which software is not even, forget about training, not even taught. The software does not know why it should do, does not have any justification why it should do, but the hardware is made to do. That kind of routine leads to more and more dullness. So instead of awakening the non-mechanical parts of the brain, even the mechanical parts of the brain starts dying. Then you carry the constant depression and dullness in you, and you share that only. When you hug the other person, when you touch the other person, you just pour the depression, that dullness. So naturally, you are living together, not together. The dissatisfaction arises. That dissatisfaction leads to all kinds of fight. One important thing, when that kind of a dullness and depression happens, suddenly you will see, you will start feeling like your whole life is doomed. You will not understand, you will not think this will pass away. You will think, I cannot imagine living with this guy whole life. I cannot imagine looking at the same person every morning. These kinds of thoughts will become stronger and stronger inside your system. I am talking about all this marriage thing because this person has questioned the centuries-old custom in the Indian culture of surrendering choice of life. Sexual love made to parents is so powerful in affecting the consciousness in regards to surrender, connection, trust. I want you to understand. Actually, this sutra and this question is very closely connected. That's the reason I am working on this, both the question and sutra. Maybe today we will do just this sutra, because this sutra can reveal so much. We will do just this one sutra. And after the break also, if you have questions just on this sutra, right, I'll try to answer. We will explore deeper and deeper, just this sutra. Centuries old custom in the Indian culture of surrendering choice of life, sexual love mate, to parents is so powerful in affecting the consciousness. I want you to understand, the sexual love mate, choice of the sexual love mate is not surrendered to parents traditionally, it is surrendered to your own inner consciousness. Understand? It is surrendered to your own ecstasy, which is happening by awakening of the non-mechanical parts of the brain. Parents actually do a kind of a shortlisting. Only they do a kind of a shortlisting. It is actually the enlightened master. He matches and chooses and fits exactly, seeing the horoscope. In those days, the astrology and horoscope will be studied by an enlightened being. Usually, every family will have an enlightened guru, the Kula Guru. Fortunately, all those Kula Gurus are enlightened. Here you are saying, parents, surrendering it to parents. No, it is not surrendered to parents even till 100 years ago. Even till 100 years ago, it was surrendered to enlightened astrologer, horoscope, person who reads your Kula Guru. Kula Guru is practically like a family psychiatrist and much more. Not just family psychiatrist, much more. He knows the whole family background. He is enlightened. He can give you the straight things which is needed, solution. He can look at the things in a very objective way. So traditionally, custom was surrendering that freedom to him, not to the parents. And one nice thing, Many parents are also enlightened. Many parents, even though they never claimed or they never said, see, telling your enlightenment was not a lifestyle in our tradition. It was not a lifestyle. And actually, even now, there is one big tradition of Siddha Parampara believes not to speak about your personal spiritual experience to others. They don't talk. Because now the number has become rare, we need to inspire more and more people coming inside this tradition. We are all made to tell, talk, just to inspire people. Otherwise, traditionally, they don't inspire, they don't talk. We know so many elders, parents, who can solve completely their problem and others' problem and live in enlightenment. Living enlightenment, they don't talk. We had, fortunately, that kind of people. That is why we surrendered everything to them. And the funny thing, first time, both of them will meet only before tying the Mangal Sutra or the marriage ceremony. Some traditions, only after Mangal Sutra is tied, they will even remove that face veil. So much of authenticity, because both of them lived with a inner ecstasy. Both of them know very clearly the outer person is just there to share, not to demand. That is why you don't need to seek and search and date around. See, if it is a utility, like a buying commodity, you have to go around, experiment, find out and do. People, the other day, one person was telling me, what is this, Swamiji? In India, no freedom. The parents choose, the elders choose about the wife and husband. Is it not disrespect to the individual freedom? We don't understand. Dating around, choosing, then marrying is the disrespect to the whole physical relationship. Means it is like commodity. If you are buying a shirt, you need to put it on and see. Because you are going to use that. Same way, if you are dating around, choosing and then selecting and marrying, means you are going to use that person. That person is going to be utility. That is why you are so careful. In the Vedic marriage, the person was not utility. He was only an object on which you can pour your ecstasy. He is only an object on whom you can train. You can get trained to pour your compassion, to open up, to share the compassion with the whole world. By 21, the person will be filled with overflowing ecstasy. Now he has to have the training of pouring that on one person, so that within 50, he will be matured to pour it on the whole world to take vanaprastha. It's very beautiful. First, creating ecstasy and joy and awakening the non-mechanical parts of your brain and living with ecstasy, 25 years. Between 25 to 50, training to pour that on one person, one family, one group. That is Grihastha life. Then next, Vanaprastha, trying to pour that on animate, inanimate objects. Like that's why Vanaprastha means going and sharing it with in the forest. Trying to pour that on animals, pour that on trees, pour that on whole forest with the nature. Then sannyas, trying to pour that on the whole world. You are now trained to pour your ecstasy and compassion on the whole world. This is the tradition. Understand, going around, I am not against, but I want you to understand, do not think the Indian traditional marriage custom and system was the lifestyle without freedom. No. There, because the other person was not utility, we don't need to go around. We don't need to seek around. We don't need to search. I am full. All I want is some one person on whom I can pour. So that masters are there. They will choose. That's all. The dimension and color of the skin was not involved. That is why we don't have a problem, we never had a problem of surrendering this freedom to the elders. Now, not only color of the skin, even color of the dress matters. The taste matters. Color of the dress matters because it is going to be utility. You are now planning how much maximum I can get out of that person. It is all about how much you can get out of that person. That is why you have to shop around. You have to shop around to get a best deal. So naturally, if it is going to be a deal, you have to shop around. In the traditional Vedic marriage system, it was not deal. So you don't need to shop around. It was only a training. So masters know who should be put next to you so that you can get trained. Even the attitude was training. That is why every time the thought of continuing the marriage only was mothered. Yesterday's sutra, if you remember, as hen mothers the chicks, mother particular knowings and doings. In the Indian traditional marriage, thought of continuing the marriage only was mothered continuously. Even verbally, they will not tell that I should not live with him. No. Even verbally they will not tell. Thought of keeping the marriage alive was mothered. But now, when it is utility, shopping around, even after a few months, when you think the deal was not as you expected, the thought of divorce is started getting mothered. Understand? The moment you start mothering the thought of divorce, you have created the problem for you. Which thought you mother is the truth. We never kept the relationship as a utility part. It was more pouring. It was more sharing. Whenever a problem in marriage comes, the person only remembers, marriage is happened for me to train myself to pour my compassion and expand me. It is a test. In the marriage system of the West, where the dating and deal is signed, whenever the problem happens, I think I am cheated. Now I have to stand up. I have to put my foot down. Where will you put? Already you are down. Where more you will put your foot down? Where more you will go down? I'll put my foot down. The whole attitude was different. The whole attitude was different. The essence, base was adding the Ananda Sutras to life. Understand? Adding the essential clarity which straight away brings ecstasy to your life. This sutra is a kind of a sutra. Just simple understanding will awaken the non-mechanical parts of your brain. And all you need to do is cooperate with it and allow that awakening of the non-mechanical parts of your brain to create your day routine. That's all. Understand? With the Nitya Sutras, you have to listen, internalize, remember and center yourself every day. It may not need a separate effort, but every moment you have to just remember and bring it back to the center, to that awakening, to that remembrance. Like ajapa, ajapa, ananda gandha, putting your awareness on Agnya. There are so many methods. That and all is Nitya Sutra. Next is Dhyana Sutra. Understanding, internalizing, sitting particular time, half an hour, 1 hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sitting and doing it. Dhyana Sutras. Ananda Sutras. Understand. The very understanding will give you the clarity. That clarity will automatically awaken the non-mechanical parts of your brain When that awakening happens, a chaos will start happening in your routine. Means your routine will start getting arranged by itself. Cooperate with it. That is what I call living enlightenment. If you don't cooperate for the new ecstasy which happened, new awakening which happened, and if you force your old same dull routine on you, you may forget, or you may bring your awakening back to same old person, back to your dullness and deadness. Here, this Ananda Sutras does not need your effort, it needs only your cooperation. Listen very intensely and understand. Allow that awakening of non-mechanical parts of your brain to happen now, so that you can cooperate with it. Cooperating means when these understandings happen, the tremendous love, tremendous gratitude for the master or God or this understanding. If the devotion happens even to this understanding, that is the respect to the Veda Mata. That is the respect to the Veda Purusha. Respect to Veda Purusha means what? Respect to the understanding. One thing may start arising, something may start arising as a side effect. Just cooperate with all these things, that's all. Just go with all these things. You may always like to be around the people who are also in this kind of life. You may always love to talk or listen about this kind of things. Cooperate with it. Cooperating with the awakening which happened in you is what I am calling being a disciple or living enlightenment. Since in truth, in reality, bondage and freedom are relative, these words are only for those terrified with the universe. Understand? These words are only for the people, for those who are terrified with the universe. First line, very powerful line. Bondage and freedom are relative. Only a courageous master can tell this. Because when you are liberated from bondage, you may not need master. Fortunately, Shiva did not have disciples who were dating around for master. Understand? Just like in the West, just how they date around for a companion, same way the dating around for master also happens. If you are surrounded by the disciples who dated around and found you, you cannot take the risk of giving the ultimate truth to them. Then the deal is over. But here, fortunately, Shiva is surrounded by the disciple who was in the same mold marriage of the Vedic marriage. See, I gave you the clear difference between the traditional Vedic marriage and the Western kind of a marriage and setup, mental setup. Same way the Guru-disciple relationship also. If you are sitting here, all the questions are answered, and just you are sitting here to have more and more understanding, like more and more you want to pour your gratitude. You are here just because your gratitude is Indian traditional marriage. I am an instrument. I happened in your life to train you to pour your gratitude. How the Vedic marriage, the spouse is added to your life so that you will get trained to pour your compassion out on one person. Then you can pour it on the whole world. Same way you will be here. I will be added to your life so that you will be trained to pour your gratitude on me. Then you can pour it on the whole world. It is Actually, the marriage and guru-disciple relationship is almost same. What idea you have about marriage is going to affect even the idea of guru-disciple relationship. The other way, the dating and marrying, that system means you are sitting with that system, with that understanding. If the guru-disciple relationship starts just going around and picking up and finally choosing one, unfortunately, now we don't have every Kula Guru, the enlightened Kula Guru. If we had that, we don't need for you to move to other Guru at all. Because we don't have that, we have to now replace. Anyhow, when you date around and find the master and start sitting with him, it is only going to be, you will be sitting as long as all your questions are answered. Not after that, because deal is over. After all the questions are answered, understand, be very clear, understand this word very clearly. After your brain feels it has taken enough, don't think the moment your brain feels you have taken enough, you have really taken enough. No. When your brain feels you have learnt enough, then you start thinking, I think I have learnt enough. Then now why should I sit here? I think the deal does not seem to be now any more giving. Let's break the deal. I think it is too much demanding than giving. Let's break the deal. Enough, bus. Divorce will happen. And that is what I say, you turn before reaching the goal. You turn before reaching the goal. Understand, you hit the red signal, not the goal. Sometime hitting the red signal, you think as a goal. I have seen many seekers who are trained in the mental setup of dating and marrying, will date around and suddenly have a click. I think, oh God, this guy is fresh out of the box. Young master, fresh out of the box. Surely we can get some new technique, updated version, updated ideas. And sit and learn. The moment you feel your brain is full, or the moment you think, is unique contribution I got. Understand, I don't have unique contribution. I want all of you to know, and I want this to be in record. I don't have anything unique to contribute. Everything I am expressing is expressed at least 10,000 years ago. I am sure it is expressed much earlier, but we have a record at least 10,000 years ago. If you are here to find something, unique contribution from me, you are cheating yourself. You are just in wrong place. I neither have something unique to contribute, nor claim I have something unique to contribute. If you are here sitting for some unique contribution, you are still dating. You are still sitting with your questions. Any day you think your brain is filled, now any day you feel, how much ideas I can grab, I think I have grabbed. Or your brain will say, I think I learnt everything. When you think you learnt everything, be very clear, you filled your brain, not learnt. Your brain says no. Whenever your brain is filled, it gives you an idea, you have learnt everything. You have not learnt everything. Your small brain is filled. That's all. Then you decide, now it is too much demanding. Why should I wear this mala? Why should I do meditation every day? I have to drive all the way, 1 hour drive, and go and sit there. He comes in his own time. I am sitting in a normal chair, he is sitting in a big throne unnecessarily. Why should it be? You take a U-turn and you mistake the red signal as goal. Red signal is your brain is filled with thoughts, ideas, but your brain tells you you have understood everything. The red signal shows as if it is a goal and you take U-turn. The relationship with guru-disciple and the marriage both comes from the same attitude. If you are sitting here, all my questions are answered, my brain is full, but I am overflowing, let me sit, I am here around doing whatever I am doing, whether I am giving my time or sharing my talent or my treasury, it is out of gratitude. If you are with that attitude, you will see every day you will be exploring new and new, deeper and deeper things. New things will be opening, new things will be happening. I will only be just an object, a reason, excuse for you to pour your gratitude and love to the whole world. I am like a training object. You will pour it and see. Naturally you will be trained to pour on the community. First master, then community, then the whole world. How it happens in a marriage system? First, the spouse and the family, community, then the whole world. In tradition, we had only two lifestyles. One, living the householder lifestyle, the same mold, pouring it on one person, pouring it on community, pouring it on whole world. In the spiritual way, same thing, pouring it on master and pouring it on master's community and pouring it on the whole world. The sannyas and sansar, both life, same attitude and same goal and same ending. That is why we never had a problem with the whole social setup. With the whole social setup. It was such a beautiful, tuned truth. Since in truth, bondage and freedom are relative, Mahadeva is fortunate. He is having a disciple who has not dated around. Neither for marriage nor for gurus. She is completely in tune. That is why he is opening and boldly declaring. Bondage and freedom, both are relative. Understand? Both are relative. If you are frightened in the universe, terrified with the universe, only for you these words are required. This universe, now he is giving the next answer, next step. This universe is a reflection of minds. This is the key word. This is the Ananda Sutra. This is the Ananda Sutra. This universe is a reflection of mind. Your mind reflects on her mind, your mind, his mind reflects on your mind. It is just reflection of minds. Like in India, in villages, that during the festival times they will sell a small piece of toy. If you put your eye inside and see, rotate, you will see the few pieces of bangles being reflected in 3 mirrors. It is called kaleidoscopy or something. Kaleidoscopy. Kaleidoscopy. Understand? Your life is like the kaleidoscopy. Actually, inside there is only few pieces of bangles, but that 2-3 piece bangle reflected in the 3 mirror will look like a big design. Continuous big design. Same way, here you have too many mirrors, chaotically placed, not flat, different kinds of contours, different kind of mold, different, not only that, many broken. Many broken to peace. This kind of reflection, your mind is enough chaos, and the mirrors are the bigger chaos. The chaos is reflected in chaos. What will you do? Nothing to do, celebrate. There is nothing to achieve, just relax. It may be very strong. Anything which creates tightness in you or strong thought in you, which you have to remember by force, relax from it. Relax from it. That is what Mahadeva means. This universe is a reflection of minds. When you relax from it, anything which creates tightness or stress, if you relax, a unique kind of awakening will start happening, and your day-to-day routine will go through a big, tremendous balancing. Understand? Not imbalancing, balancing. As on now it is imbalanced, chaos. Chaos will fall into order. It will fall into balancing. Cooperating with that balancing is living enlightenment. When that balancing has happened, you are living enlightenment. The word living enlightenment can be practice and achievement. Cooperating when the chaos falls into order. See, every relationship, every activity, whether your profession or life or business dealing or the personal relationship or anything, is reflection of minds. Reflection of minds. That is why even two persons cannot sit silently, quietly for 2 hours. You see in front of the masters thousands of people not only sitting quite as if there is no two mind. I have seen. Not even slight movements will be there in the body. Just people are there. Means there is no two mind. Only one person has, and he also has no mind. And just his words are vibrating, echoing in the empty inner spaces. So many thousands of bodies, but empty inner spaces. His words are echoing. His words are reverberating. His words are expressing. That is what I call initiation, mass awakening of Kundalini. Mass awakening of Kundalini means intense group of disciples sitting in front of the master and master's words penetrating into that inner space and silence. Universe is a reflection of minds. Universe is reflection of so many different chaotical minds. Mahadeva says one beautiful example. He weighs very small number of words in examples. Very rarely he gives examples. Here he gives an amazing example. As you see many suns in water from one sun, if you keep 10 water pots, you will see 10 suns on the 10 water pot. If you break one by one, the number of suns count will come down. Suddenly, if you break the last part, there is no reflection, only sun. Only one sun actually, but so many reflections in the water. Same way, only one consciousness, but so many reflections in all of us. Understand? This one example, very powerful. When you see so many reflection, even one reflection, if you take and just start following from where it is getting reflected, you will reach the source. You will see the source. In all of us, there is a reflection. Your body and mind is like a mirror. And the divine is super conscious. That sun, exact spot where it touches your mirror, your body and mind is a mirror, divine is super conscious, where exactly it touches, that space is what is your individual consciousness. The mirror may be 2 feet by 2 feet. The sun may be reflecting exactly on the center point. That point is your individual consciousness. We may have so many individual consciousness, but if you trace the source, you will reach the same super consciousness. That is why we say too many periphery centers, but the center of all the periphery centers is one. Too many suns are reflected in the water, but the source is one. These two ideas, whole universe is the reflection of minds, and all reflections have one source. When you understand whole universe is reflection of minds, your effort or intention or the force or irritation to do something will disappear. If you understand all our sources are one, you are resting in the peace. Whether you achieve the Bill Gates wealth or live as a homeless person, when you relax, you are disappearing. You are dissolving into the same consciousness. Why will you then waste your time? Why will you then waste your time hurting yourself? I am not saying you may not create the wealth of Bill Gates. You may create, but without hurting you. The infrastructure which comes out of the ecstatic feeling which you are carrying without hurting yourself is what we call kshetra. Understand? Kshetra is not a city. Kshetra means the whole citizens, the whole group is in ecstasy, working out of ecstasy. That is why those great temples which are built are still standing. It creates kshetra. But if you are doing the same work of creating infrastructure, see the whole thing of human beings kept in the mood of unfulfillment and constantly they are taught you are not complete is a business done by the so-called visionaries of the society to drive these guys crazy to create bigger and bigger infrastructures. That's all. Don't you see the whole fun? Either you listen to the great truths of the masters who came out of the inner world and achieve the truth, or listen to the foolish visionaries who are constantly hurting themselves and filled with irritation and ego and power game and forced everybody to feel unfulfilled or dissatisfied so that they will be constantly running to work and create more and more bigger and bigger infrastructure with which they can satisfy or fulfill and show their ego as a strong. I'm breaking the whole pot. I'm breaking the whole truth. Understand, That is the source from which constantly you are fed the idea that you are not complete, you are not full, you are not as you are supposed to be, and you are not total. These ideas are taught to you so that you will be constantly made to run, to create bigger and bigger infrastructures. Beautiful definition of Kshetra. Kshetra means the cities developed by the Vedic masters. That is why in India we took care, never the leadership was given to a king who is egoistic and constantly mad after expansion of infrastructure. It was all policy decisions was always under an enlightened master, Rajaguru. All policy decisions was under Rajaguru, enlightened master, because he knows how to plan, and he was constantly taking care. Only the fulfillment was expressing. Here, Mahadeva says, as you see many suns in water, from one sun, so see bondage and liberation. So many suns are seen in the water. When you look at the root, you will see only one sun. The source is one. Clearly understand, bondage and the liberation, both words are just relative. They are only relative. They are not ultimate truth. If you think you are in bondage, you need to be taught you are liberated. There is a beautiful example you need to understand. One guy who was standing in the corner of the room, facing the corner, two walls in front of him, corner, he is facing the corner. Suddenly he got into the idea, he is in prison, he is caught. He is hitting this wall, he is hitting that wall, I am bound, I am in prison, save me, God save me, oh Guru save me, oh this save me, oh that save me, release me, liberate me. Master, all he does is, from the behind, shouts, fool, turn. The moment he turns, suddenly he realizes, third side there was no wall. Third side, there was no wall. And he tries to escape. He tries to run. God, I am free, let me run and escape. Master says, fool, relax. You have never been in bondage. Why are you trying to escape? Run. Look around. Then he realizes, not only third side there was no wall, there was no gate anywhere. It was just two small walls meeting in one corner. He himself voluntarily went and started fighting with that walls. Neither the walls bound him, nor they invited him. He went and started fighting with the walls and started thinking, believing he is bound. He is in bondage. Understand, bondage and liberation are relative. They are only two words, relative words. There are so many beautiful truths, revelations can happen in you when this idea awakens the non-mechanical parts of your brain. Understand one more important example. I always love to tell this story, this example. You are always afraid of unclutching or remembering that you are liberated. You wanted a clear mental setup so that your moral standard and life standard, internal and external lives will be same, smooth, as you think, what you think as order. No. In Indian villages I have seen, they will catch these monkeys if they enter into the city and leave them back in the forest. They have to catch them without poisoning them. So they will keep a small pipe inside which their hands can go. They will keep that pipe, and the other side they will keep a small sweet. This monkey will put the hand in the pipe and catch that sweet. After it catches the sweet, it will try to take the hands out, it will not come out. It will try its best to take the hand out. This fool does not understand, if he lets go the sweet, hands will come out. He will not let go the sweet. He will not leave the sweet. He will be holding on to that sweet or that item, the fruit, and he will be trying to take the hand out. Just because of his own closed hands, he will not be able to take his hands out of the net. And this fellow will be playing and pushing and pulling like this for hours. And that guy who put the net, the hunter, will slowly come and catch the monkey and put in the cage and take it away. We don't understand. Just if you leave the hand, your hands can just come out, come off. There is nobody who is binding. There is nobody who is putting you in bondage. Another one important story, wonderful story. I've seen in Indian forests, hunters catching birds. They'll catch the birds. There will be one small stick hanging in a rope. The stick will be very balanced, just like this, equal, this side and that side, the same weight and length the stick will be. Like, there will be rope like this tied, and the stick will be hanging. When birds come, they'll try to sit one side. The moment they sit one side, suddenly the stick will become topsy-turvy, upside down, because of one side weight. It will become just upside down. It will just become topsy-turvy. Understand, the moment the stick has become upside down, the bird which is holding will completely get imbalanced and shaken. Now this guy starts thinking, if I leave, I'll fall and break my head and die. If I let go the stick now, I'll fall and break my head and die. He will be just hanging, trying to flutter his wings, trying to shake, trying to move, trying to bring that stick to balance, trying to straighten that stick. No. Nothing will happen. Never it will happen. All our practice, trying to create silence and balance through wealth, or peace and balance through some other practice, everything is equal to the trials and the things which this bird is trying to do. Fluttering the wing, balancing. The fluttering the wing can be having more cars and houses. Trying to balance the stick can be more like some japa or meditation or some spiritual practice, some techniques. Trying its best, nothing will happen. This guy will be hanging. Slowly, that hunter will come and catch the bird very slowly and put it in the cage and go. All you need to understand is you are never in bondage. You will never fall and die. Just let go. If the bird just opens, it can fly. It can just fly. The hunter is death. Till death comes, you are hanging, swinging and trying to balance the stick. All your fluttering, you always think, if I let go and become so easy, I may die, means I may fall and break my head, means I may lose my wealth, I may lose my mind, I may lose my balanced life, I may lose this, I may lose that. No. There is no history anytime a bird falling and dying. Same way, there will never be a history if you relax from all the things you are holding, you will lose your wealth or health or life or miss anything. You won't miss anything, whatever you have. At the most, when that bird lets go that stick, it takes 2-3 seconds for the bird to balance and start flying. At the most, you may need 2-3 months to balance and start flying. That 2-3 months, having the patience and balancing is what I call tapas. That is what I call tapas. Living enlightenment. Understand, we are all hanging. Just open up. Let go. Whatever you are holding in your mind as bondage and whatever thought you think as bondage, whatever you think is associated with bondage or suffering, as you think, let go. Let go. You may think, I may have to let go my job. Don't bother. Let go. You will never miss your wealth. The moment you are balanced, you will start working out of your creativity. You will start expressing out of your strength. You will start expressing out of your joy. It is not that the person who is flying is not working. No. Paramahamsas are not lazy. They express the honest freedom and creativity. Having the trust that you can express that creativity and strength is what I call bhakti. You need only Atma Bhakti. Means having the trust towards yourself that you can also express that creativity. You can also express that freedom. That is bhakti. And opening, letting go the stick is tyaga, and balancing and flying is courage. That's all need to happen in our system. Anything, if you feel there is nothing really I am holding on, then wonderful, listen to these words. It will go deep and do the work of awakening the non-mechanical parts of your brain. If you are still able to find out you are holding on to something, then relax. If you are holding on to something, relax. If you have nothing to hold on, then imbibe, listen to these words, let the process happen. Understand, all you need to do is just let go and fly. You will be a Paramahamsa. Thank you.
स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे. स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं
Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Beautiful questions. One nice thing, long question, but exactly related to today's sutra. So, I'll talk on the sutra and you will receive the answer. Today Mahadeva is starting another new chapter. New set of sutras. Let me read the sutras. Since in truth, bondage and freedom are relative, these words are only for those terrified with the universe. This universe is a reflection of minds. As you see many suns and water from one sun, so see bondage and liberation. There are three levels of sutras. One, Nitya Sutra, which has to become understanding and which you need to practice every moment. Second, Dhyana Sutra, which you need to practice at particular times, like a meditation technique. Third is Ananda Sutra, just understanding liberates you. Understanding and start enjoying. This sutra is Ananda Sutra. Understand? When you have particular set of understandings and live your life with that understanding, disciplines expressed by you with that understanding, by that understanding, automatically you release a kind of energy. It is a scientific fact. Understand this? Few words which I am uttering are going to be the key point to understand this whole sutra. When you have particular kind of understanding and live your life based on that understanding, when those understanding express as a kind of a discipline in you, that lifestyle releases an energy in you. It's a very clear scientific fact. Any disciplined life, when it is lived, releases energy in you. This energy awakens the non-mechanical part of the brain. Understand, I am trying to express exactly what happened in me or what is happening in me. When you have a strong clarity and understanding and live a life based on that understanding, a kind of a discipline arises in you which is unique and your own. Understand, I am not saying morality. Morality is when you try to generalize the discipline, it becomes morality. No. I can say customized morality. The true morality starts happening in you. It releases a tremendous energy inside your system. That energy awakens the non-mechanical part of your brain. When the non-mechanical part of your brain is awakened, your body is incapable of receiving that new awakenings, that incapability and the new awakening, when it starts gelling with each other, what happens is what I call bliss. Understand? Somehow I tried and I think I at least gave one more layer of understanding. When you have particular kind of understanding, a revelation or a click, that understanding, when you start organizing all your thought and activities based on that understanding, a kind of a beautiful morality or a beautiful discipline starts happening in you, which will be unique to your system. That discipline releases a tremendous energy. That is what I call psychological revolution. That energy release awakens the non-mechanical parts of your brain, means the awareness usually other beings will not have. That awareness will be awakened. Sometime disciples come and tell me, Swamiji, suddenly last few days after I started listening to your discourse, I am aware even in the dreams I am hearing your words. Even in the dreams, when I am doing something wrong or supposed to be against my understanding, the understanding comes back and the dream disappears. If you experienced even once listening or remembering my words or my teachings, my presence in your life, in the dream state, be very clear, the psychological revolution has started. That is started. Means the unique discipline which is your own. When the cosmic constitution is understood by your being, you just fall in tune with that cosmic constitution. As on now, you are all in tune with the constitution of a particular country where you are staying. That is why you are outside, not in prison. Whether you want or not, your body and mind is in at least following. I may not be able to use the word in tune, at least following the constitution of that country. When these great truths and understandings land on you, when you carry them in you,
महेन्द्रो धनदक्कालो यम सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते
यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजा प्राण कृदुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते कोटि सूर्य स्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदय निवासिनम् नित्यानन्दम् नमोस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्त सप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्ट मार्ताण्डान् अंशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अतिदे पुत्र शङ्कर शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्द प्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते
ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तु ते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्त सप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्ट मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्दप्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अतिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्द प्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
पितरो वसवसाध्या ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजा प्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशो भानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतम् पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्द प्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
साध्या ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सकशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरम् भक्तहृदयनिवासिनम् नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते क्षयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्दप्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते भक्तहृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्दप्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
साध्या ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकबस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्दप्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदकालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
साध्या ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सखशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते हृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विभस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वदेवात्मको हेश तेजस्वी रश्मिभावनः एव देवासुरगणान् लोकान् पादिकवस्तिभिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते एष ब्रह्मा च विष्णुश्च शिवस्कन्दप्रजापतिः महेन्द्रो धनदक्कालो यमः सोमो ह्यपाम्पतिः कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
साध्या ह्यश्विनौ मरुतो मनुः वायुर्वाग्नि प्रजाप्राण ऋतुकर्ता प्रभाकरः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
आदित्य सविता सूर्य खगशोषागभस्तिमान् सुवर्ण सकशोभानुर्हिरण्यरेता दिवाकर
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हरिदश्व सहस्रार्चि सप्तसप्तिर्मरीचिमान् तिमिरोन्मत्तन् शम्भुत्विष्टा मार्ताण्डांशुमान्
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते
हिरण्यगर्भ शिशिरः स्तपनो भास्करो रविः अग्निगर्भो अदिदे पुत्र शङ्कः शिशिरनाशनः
कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते भक्तहृदयं पुण्यं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं जयावहं जपे नित्यम् अक्षयं परमं शिवं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वपापप्रणाशनं चिन्ताशोकप्रशमनम् आयुर्वर्धनमुत्तमम् कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयस्व विवस्वन्तं भास्करं भुवनेश्वरं कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदयनिवासिनं नित्यानन्दं नमोऽस्तुते कोटिसूर्यस्वरूपिणम् आनन्दगन्ध ईश्वरं भक्तहृदय